The Italian film legend Gina Lollobrigida has died at age 95. Italian film legend Gina Lollobrigida, who achieved international stardom during the 1950s and was dubbed the most beautiful woman in the world after the title of one of her movies, died in Rome on Monday, her agent said. She was 95. The agent, Paula Common, didn't provide details. Lollobrigida had surgery in September to repair a thigh bone broken in a fall. She returned home and said she'd quickly resumed walking. A drawn portrait of the diva graced the 1954 cover of Time magazine, which likened her to a goddess in an article about Italian movie making. More than half a century later, Lollobrigida still turned heads with her brown curly hair and statuesque figure and preferred to be called an actress instead of the gender-neutral term actor. Lolo, as she was lovingly nicknamed by Italians, began making movies in Italy just after the end of World War II, as the country began to promote on the big screen a stereotypical concept of Mediterranean beauty as buxom and brunette. Besides The World's Most Beautiful Woman in 1955, career highlights included Golden Globe winner Come September with Rock Hudson, Trapeze, Beat the Devil, a 1953 John Huston film starring Humphrey Bogart and Jennifer Jones, and Buonasera Miss Campbell, which won Lollobrigida Italy's Top Movie Award, a David Di Donatello, as Best Actress in 1969. In Italy, she worked with some of the country's top directors following the war, including Mario Monicelli, Luigi Comencini, Pietro Germi, and Vittorio De Sica. Two of her more popular films at home were Comencini's Pan Amor e Fantasia, Bread, Love and Dreams in 1953, and the sequel a year later, Pan Amore e Gelosia, Bread, Love and Jealousy. Her male foil was Vittorio Gassman, one of Italy's leading men on the screen. Lollobrigida was also an accomplished sculptor, painter and photographer, and eventually essentially dropped film for the other arts. With her camera, she roamed the world from what was then the Soviet Union to Australia. In 1974, Fidel Castro hosted her as a guest in Cuba for 12 days as she worked on a photo reportage. Lollobrigida was born on July 4, 1927, in Subaico, a picturesque hill town near Rome, where her father was a furniture maker. Lollobrigida began her career in beauty contests, posing for the covers of magazines and making brief appearances in minor films. Producer Mario Costa plucked her from the streets of Rome to appear on the big screen. Eccentric mogul Howard Hughes eventually brought Lollobrigida to the United States, where she performed with some of Hollywood's leading men of the 1950s and 60s, including Frank Sinatra, Sean Connery, Burt Lancaster, Tony Curtis, and Yul Brynner. Over the years, her co-stars also included Europe's most dashing male stars of the era, among them Louis Jordan, Fernando Rey, Jean-Paul Belmondo, Jean-Louis Trintignant, and Alec Guinness. While Lollobrigida played some dramatic roles, her simple image defined her career, and her most popular characters were in light-hearted comedies such as the Bread Love trilogy. With lush eyelashes and thick brown curls framing her face, Lollobrigida started a hairstyle rage in the 1950s known as the poodle cut. Gossip columnists commented on alleged rivalries between her and Sophia Loren, another Italian film star celebrated for her beauty. In middle age, Lollobrigida's romance with a man 34 years her junior, Javier Rigaud from Barcelona, Spain, kept gossip pages buzzing for years. "I have always had a weakness for younger men because they're generous and have no complexes," the actress told Spain's Hola magazine. After more than 20 years of dating, in 2006, the then 79-year-old Lollobrigida announced that she would marry Rigaud, but the wedding never happened. Her first marriage to Milko Skofic, a Yugoslavia-born doctor, ended in divorce in 1971. In the last years of her life, Lollobrigida's name more frequently appeared in articles by journalists covering Rome's courts, not the glamour scene, as legal battles were waged over whether she had the mental competence to tend to her finances. On her website, Lollobrigida recalled how her family lost its house during the bombings of World War II and went to live in Rome. She studied sculpture and painting at a high school dedicated to the arts, while her two sisters worked as movie theater ushers to allow her to continue her studies. Personal life. In 1949, Lollobrigida married Slovenian physician Milko Skofic. Their only child, Andrea Milko, was born on 28th of July 1957. Skofic gave up the practice of medicine to become her manager. In 1960, Lollobrigida moved from her native Italy to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, with Skofic and her son Andrea. The couple meant to solve the legal situation of their son, who is considered stateless by the Italian bureaucracy. They divorced in 1971. She had a one-night extramarital affair with Christian Bernard, a South African doctor and pioneer in heart transplant surgery. In October 2006, at age 79, she announced to Spain's Hola magazine her engagement to a 45-year-old Spanish businessman, Javier Rigau. They had met at a party in Monte Carlo in 1984 and had since become companions. The engagement was called off on December 6, 2006, reportedly because of the strain of intense media interest. In 2006, Lollobrigida and Rigau signed a prenuptial agreement and married in Spain. In January 2013, she started legal action against Javier Rigau, claiming that her ex-boyfriend had staged a secret ceremony in which he married an imposter pretending to be her at a registry office in Barcelona. She said he intended to lay claim to her estate after her death. Lollobrigida accused Rigau of fraud, saying that he had earlier obtained the legal right to act on her behalf with a power of attorney and carried out the plot to get extra power. A while ago, he convinced me to give him my power of attorney. He needed it for some legal affairs, but instead, I fear that he took advantage of the fact that I don't understand Spanish. Who knows what he had me sign? In March 2017, she lost her court action but subsequently said that she would appeal. Lollobrigida had a habit of referring to herself in the third person. Lollobrigida retired from filming in 1997. She told Parade in April 2000, "I studied painting and sculpting at school and became an actress by mistake. I've had many lovers and still have romances. I'm very spoiled. All my life, I've had too many admirers." After retirement, she divided her time between her house on Via Appia Antica in Rome and a villa in Monte Carlo. After 2009, Lollobrigida did not allow visitors to her home. In 2013, Lollobrigida sold her jewelry collection through Sotheby's. She donated nearly $5 million to benefit stem cell therapy. In 2019, the Roman Rota decreed the declaration of nullity for her marriage with Rigau after 2 years of process and with the Pope's approval. At the end of the 2010s, Andrea Pizzola became Lollobrigida's main collaborator, general director and trustee of some Monegasque real estate and financial societies. In July 2020, he was charged for circumvention of an incapable. In 2021, the Italian Supreme Court of Cassation, at the request of her son, ruled that Lollobrigida should have a legal guardian appointed to manage her affairs so that she was not taken advantage of. Although the court demanded she was not mentally incapable, medical evidence had indicated that there was a weakening in her correct perception of reality and that she was in a state of vulnerability. In 2022, sports media noted that Olympic speed skating silver medalist Francesca Lollobrigida is her grandniece, though the two were not acquainted. Lollobrigida died at a clinic in Rome on 16th of July 2023 at the age of 95. Photojournalism. By the end of the 1970s, Lollobrigida had embarked on what she developed into a successful second career as a photographic journalist. She photographed, among others, Paul Newman, Salvador Dali, Henry Kissinger, David Cassidy, Audrey Hepburn, Ella Fitzgerald, and the German national football team. She even managed to obtain an exclusive interview with Fidel Castro, leader of Communist Cuba. In 1973, a collection of her work was published under the title Italia Mia. Judging. In 1986, she was invited to head the jury at the 36th Berlin International Film Festival, which awarded the Golden Bear to Reinhard Hoff's film Stammheim. She said the majority decision was prefabricated and opposed it. In the 1990s, she made a few minor French film appearances and continued to participate in and attend international film festivals. Italian film legend Gina Lollobrigida last word before she died. A small but noteworthy thing. I've seen so many young men over the years who think they're running at other younger men. They're not.